So the Wales team has been announced and Rees-Zammit has quit rugby, effective immediately. There's a lot going on in the news today, so let's get into it. What is going on, guys? It's the Mad Dragons. There I was in work in my lunch break, seeing that the Wales team had been announced. Thought, hey, we got a fun little video to do, but we've got a little bit more to talk about because, like I said in that intro, Rees-Zammit has also quit rugby 1 hour before the Wales team got announced. Took everyone by a bit of a surprise. So a lot to go over in this video. We're going to talk about the Rees-Zammit story as it's been going on, because I enjoy covering a little bit of news every now and again. But more importantly, we're also going to go over the Wales team announcement, who got into the team, who's been left out in some shock reveals to me, and of course we're going to cover the injury status for a lot of players missing out for this Wales team, and just how much are they going to struggle when it gets around to this Six Nations. So we'll start out then with the big story that's sort of come around out of nowhere. Rees-Zammit is heading over to NFL, effective immediately, no longer with Gloucester, no longer going to be with the Wales rugby team in time for this the Six Nations. They're going over for this international player pathway, not something I know a great deal about, or NFL in general, to be fair. But going over there, I've been seeing a bit of responses going out from this, bit of feedback. A lot of people seem to be very unhappy with this decision, and I think it's probably disheartening if you're a Wales fan to have lost an absolute talent like Rees out from the team. A couple of people have taken it too far. I've seen a few responses. It's the internet, right? He's a disgrace, he's a traitor, he's like, whoa, calm down, right? I've gone away, I've had a little bit of a look at an interview that he's actually done with the Gloucester rugby team, and he's actually sat down and done, a full-on interview with them, where he's basically said, being part of the NFL has been like a dream and aspiration for him. His dad was big into the NFL, played NFL, and he's always wanted to do it to make his dad proud. He's achieved a lot with rugby, got into the professional scene with Gloucester's, got into the Wales rugby team, done Six Nations, done a World Cup. He's 22. A door has been opened for him. He's been approached on Sunday to say, do you want to try out in this international player pathway thing to see if he can get into an NFL team? And he's grabbed it with both hands. Now, I live in the real world. I'm sure money is also on the table. There's a lot more money over in the NFL than there probably is in rugby union. But he's still a young lad. He's got the opportunity. It's opened up for him, and if it's a dream and aspiration he's always had that he wants to do, for me, best of luck to him. It is a big blow to Wales, because for me, Rees-Zammit is the major attacking threat that Wales have. He is the one guy that just at any point in a game will score or try from anywhere. I've been seeing how he's been getting on at Gloucester as well. He's been looking very, very good. So I think he'll be missed completely from this Wales team, but I think with that door opening for him, worth the chance. I have seen a couple of people saying like, oh, his rugby career is ruined, he's ended it forever. It's a 10-week camp. There's every chance at the end of the 10 weeks he goes over to this thing, goes over there, and they say, you're not cut out for this, and he comes back over to Britain and he says, who wants me to play for their team? In which case, I'm sure plenty of teams would say, we'll have you. I don't think it's ruined his career. There is also the opportunity, not that I think he would take it, that he's also able to play for Wales while abroad. He's on 30-something caps. He meets that cap threshold thing. He could play NFL and come back and play international for Wales. I doubt that would be a thing, but, that's always on the cards. But I don't actually know what position he would play in NFL. I'm not an NFL aficionado. I assume he's looking at something like a wide receiver and just going to be using his pace and his stepping and his sort of knowledge to be able to catch a ball above his own head. I assume that's what he's looking at. To me, NFL players tend to be very large guys, in weight and power as well. I'm not actually sure whether he's going to be necessarily big enough to get involved in that sport, but maybe he's relying purely on the pace. But for me, all the best to him, and I'm sure it's a bit more money in the bank for someone, a young lad probably making a career. And I think for a lot of people, they forget that rugby players are people. To him, this is a career switch. This is changing jobs. It's not about necessarily representing Wales or being a rugby player. It's changing jobs. He's got a new career path that the door's open to. We've all swapped jobs at one time or another. It's just an international sport. We get to see them leave the team, and what detriment that might be. But I hope he does well over there. But if not, I'm sure he'll come back over. I'm sure plenty of teams will be wanting to take him back on. Speaking of teams, then, the Wales team. The Wales team being announced today. Okay, right. Well, let's go through it to start off with. Now, I knew this was going to be a tough ask. When I do the channel, I always try really my best to do like a lot of unbiased stuff. Outside the channel, I absolutely claim to be a Wales supporter. I love to get involved and talk about Wales. I really do try and be completely unbiased as best as I can be when it comes to this. Now, I knew this Wales task was going to be an uphill battle getting into the Six Nations. There are a lot of names missing going into this tournament. Right, we had Halfpenny, Bigger, Alan Wynne gone. They've retired. It's over. Job done. Also on that, that sort of injury list is pretty enormous. They've got big name, no Dewi Lake, no Jack Morgan. I'm trying to quickly glance down the list. There's a lot of players unable to be played or unable to be picked, or they're playing abroad, or they've retired, or they're injured. There's a lot of people missing. So I always knew this was going to be a tough pick, but there are some interesting calls in here, and more importantly to me, a couple of omissions that did take me by surprise. So we'll have a bit of a run through this team. Now, there are a couple of newbies in here, which is nice to see. I think this is a really good tournament for Wales to do exactly this. I think if you're maybe a bit of an armchair supporter, you only watch the Six Nations and no other rugby throughout the year, you might be really disappointed in how Wales get on this year. I think this is exactly what Wales maybe should be doing this year. Brand new team, get it from scratch, new playing tactics, do it all new, and look ahead towards that next World Cup. I'm not expecting this Wales team to be winning the Six Nations or even getting close, to be honest. And it will be about trying to build this new team and see who's going to be fitting in. So new players coming in, Evan Lloyd, Archie Griffin, who's the new tight head prop who's going to be coming in. I'm looking forward to seeing him get in. Alex Mann, Mackenzie Martin, who I've already seen a couple of people a little bit surprised about. I've seen a couple of comments about that on Twitter. And then finally, Cameron Winnett, who's he's just re-signed with the Cardiff Blues, right, to get in there. So will maybe be the starting fullback for Wales throughout the Six Nations. Not entirely sure. Josh Adams could also slip back to fullback. Fullback is one area I'm slightly concerned about looking at this team, just in terms of the depth. Obviously, no Liam Williams, no Halfpenny. Zammit gone. Could always move to that fullback position as well if you needed him to. I think that could be a bit of an issue for them. The actual backs the Wales have, I think, is still okay. I mean, the scrum half position, Gareth Davis, Kieran Hardy, Thomas Williams. Okay, that's probably what you're expecting. I still think that's solid. Thomas Williams, for me, is probably going to be that starting scrum half for me. You guys might disagree. Your fly half sort of set up here. Sam Costello, Kai Evans, and Johan Lloyd. Again, none of these guys, to me, stand out as, like, top tier international, going to be crushing it. I imagine Gatland's looking at Sam Costello to be starting the games. I do think losing Bigger and someone to sort of fill in after Bigger is a big loss. We've not got any Matt Ensign of Anscombe there. Sheedy as well. I don't really know what happened to Sheedy, to be honest. He was there 1 minute and then he was just gone. But it'll be interesting to see how these lads get on. The sort of centres and the backs and stuff, Mason Grady, George North, Joe Roberts, Nick Tompkins, Owen Watkin. Mason Grady in there as a centre. Now, Mason Grady's been playing over a wing, and I think he's been doing okay on wing, to be fair, when I've seen him at club level. But I know Gatland's sort of pushing him into to play that centre position, put him in that 13. He likes him and George North to be a little bit more interchangeable. Owen Watkin getting back in the side is really nice. I always think Owen Watkin's been one of the players that's really underrated forever in Wales. He never really got that big shining start. The last game I did see him playing was nothing really to write home about, which was a bit of a shame for me. But I have always rated him throughout his career, and I kind of wish he'd had a few more starts with Wales. So I'm glad to see that he's in the team. And then out on those wings as well, Josh Adams, Rio Dyer, Tom Rogers, can go on down that wing as well. For me, Josh Adams and Rio Dyer are probably looking to be your starting wingers, but Josh Adams, absolutely needs to be in that starting team. So the backs, maybe a little bit shaky here and there, but you know what? It's still okay. It's still holding strong. The forwards is where I personally am a little bit worried about this Wales team going ahead against some of the big teams that we have in this Six Nations. We love their power game. We know what that Ireland forward pack brings, the England forward pack as well. Hooker was already a bit of an issue for Wales as is. We've got Elliot D, Ryan Elias. I think Elliot D actually might be my starting choice there. Azarati and Domachowski were the two props that came in last Six Nations, and to me, again, haven't quite sparked there. I've seen quite a few games by Domachowski now, and I can't say I've ever been superbly impressed. There's always penalty scrums given away. There's always something going wrong. I'm still not sure on that. For me, if I was looking at that front row, I might be looking at Gareth Thomas to be filling that that sort of prop position. Lock department then, Adam Beard, David Jenkins, Will Rowlands, and Teddy Williams, who I've just quickly gone to check, is just classed as a lock going into this team. I can't remember if you could do lock or flanker going in, but David Jenkins taking over as captaincy for this one. No Jack Morgan in the side. Apparently, I think I've read somewhere is going to be the youngest Wales captain ever. But that's sort of flown under the radar a little bit because there's been a lot of other news going on today. One omission from here for me, Seb Davis. I've seen the last couple of games he's had over at the Blues, and I think he's had 2 really good performances this year so far that I've seen him in. I thought maybe he could have looked to have got in there, so I think that's maybe a bit of a shame for him. Your back row is Tame Basham, James Botham, Alex Mann, Mackenzie Martin, Tommy Raffel, Aaron Wainwright. There's still some talent in there. There's still some good players. I think Jack Morgan will be missed quite a lot. Thomas Young, another one who I really thought would get in. I think he's had some really good games as well. They haven't gone down that route, and then of course we haven't got like Falatau or anyone either. Also up with his injury, so a lot of players missing in that forward pack, and a couple of omissions in there that I think did surprise me. As the team stands, then I think this is it's going to be an experimental team. It's going to be a youthful team. A lot of low caps. Which can be bad. I'm not expecting massive results from this team, first at tournament off the block, but I think it's a good position to start from, especially looking ahead towards 2027. We knew a lot of the old guard of Wales were going to be dropping out at the end of that World Cup. It's time to look onto the new World Cup, and I'm really hoping they do gel together. Like I said, I think the backs are looking okay. The forward pack is where I'm going to be a little bit worried, a little bit untested, a little bit inexperienced. I can see a lot of teams trying to really make the most of that, especially with like 5-meter driving mauls and stuff. Maybe this team's going to be a little bit disjointed, but we'll see how we get on. But that's the team as it's been announced. That's all the news coming out for today. I'm sure there'll probably be more. There's probably more going on. I also think we've had the Scotland team announced today, so I guess I'll do one of these videos tomorrow for the Scotland team. But I hope you all enjoyed this one today, guys. Let me know what you think of the Zammit news and the Wales team down in the comment section. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that fun YouTube stuff. I hope you've all enjoyed this one today, guys. I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.